Hello, Katie here from Katie's World. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for tuning in today. In this video, we're going to be doing a page kit assembly video. This is for my Baking Up Some Magic page kit. Shout out to Cuddly Cute Designs. I did use a few of her images to create some of the little baking accessories here. Super cute. Check her out. Okay, so thank you so much once again for joining me. If you'd like to see how this kit is put together, please stay tuned. If you don't have this kit yet, please check the description below. There's a link to my shop where you can find this page kit and many other fun projects. So let's jump right in. Okay, so I'm going to start on the left page first. I did go ahead and glue some of the items already just for a quicker video, so it just so you're not just spending a lot of the time watching me ink and glue everything. But I did leave some things so I could show you a little bit of techniques of what I do. Okay, so these I have already inked the edges and glued them down, so I'm just gonna do this one on camera. Now I am using the Tim Holtz Distress Ink Vintage Photo. And I will also, also using the dauber, the sponge dauber. And this is really awesome. If you didn't know, it actually, your little dauber actually just sits right in there. So you can take this, it's got Velcro on it. So when you're ready to use it, just press it in and you've got your dauber, and it just stores right in there. And then I'm using the Art Glitter Designer Dries Clear Liquid Glue with the fine metal tip. So we're not going to glue yet. I'm going to ink. I've already inked this. Now, when you do pick up this kit, I will have these pieces all pre-cut for you, so you don't have to worry too much about measuring and cutting. There may be some cutting, maybe cutting off the barcode or trimming the background pieces. I haven't actually put these kits together yet as I'm making this video. But if there's any cutting that needs to be done, you'll have the measurements and step-by-step instruction in the tutorial or in your instructions in the kit. So I've already inked that. This doesn't need to be inked, so I'm going to go ahead and just ink up this one real quick. I just dab in the ink and go around quickly. I kind of go back and forth just a little bit, a couple of times as I'm working. So really simple technique, but I think it just gives it a nice look, like kind of a finished look. If you don't want the inked look, just skip the inking part. You don't have to add that in. And I don't do that on all of my projects, but a lot of them I do. Most of the page kits I really don't ink. I think all the album kits I do ink though. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to glue the brown on first. And you want to do it right in the center. It's edge to edge on the left and the right, but you're just centering it up and top to bottom, right in the middle. Okay, just like that. Okay, and the same thing with the next one. Oh, got ahead of myself. Same thing, edge to edge, and then right in the middle. Or end to end. Okay, so there's that piece. So basically you're doing the same thing. When you go ahead and glue these, all you're doing is centering on centering and layer, just adding layers. It just gives it a really nice look. So now that I've got these two glued together, I'm going to go ahead and add my glue here. You can use a permanent tape runner, score tape, or the liquid glue, whatever is your favorite adhesive to use. What I like about the liquid glue is once it dries, it's very stiff as opposed to a dry adhesive. And so it just gives a really nice, sturdy quality feel to my projects. Now this I'm just going to center right on here. And I'm just eyeballing it. And this paper does have a right direction. I know it doesn't look like it at first glance, but if you look at all these little kitchen timers, if you did it this way, it'd be sideways or upside down. So definitely look at that. Make sure that your paper is right side up. Okay, perfect. Now let me bring in the right page and I'll tell you why. Because I've already glued down these 3 parts here. I'm not sure how much of this is going to get on camera. My camera does not go high enough. Okay, so there you go. So once you do one, so how I glued this on is I just used the distance with the yellow showing, this distance, and made it the same distance, eyeballed it, you know, give or take, with the turquoise right there. So that's about the same. That's just what I did. Okay, so once you go on one, whether it's the right page or the left page, it doesn't matter. But what does matter is that you want this to go all the way across evenly. So what you're going to do is you're going to line up your pages. If for any reason, like this back page is like a hair, like different, then just line up the bottom for sure. Because obviously when it's in your album, the bottom's going to be what's lined up. If it's at all different, it's not, it's the same here. But just a little tip. So now I can use this as a guide. This only goes to the edge of the yellow when you're sticking this down, and that gives you that nice brown frame all the way around. So it's all matted. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add my glue. Make sure these pages don't move. If you have a paperweight, you can stick paperweights down just to help to keep it from moving. Okay, now I'm going to put it to the edge of the yellow, and I'm going to make sure I'm lined up over here. And now just going all the way across, make sure it's straight as you're laying it down. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. There we go. So that just ties it into the next page. So that just takes your eye to the next page. Okay, so I can't back it up anymore. But okay, so there you go. So now I'm going to bring in my photo mats. Don't glue anything down yet. I'm just going to kind of place them here. And I have little banner pieces. These are all cut the same size, but you're actually going to glue them on at different positions just to give a really fun look here. So I'm going to glue these down first, and you'll have a photo when you're working on your kit, so you can follow along with the photo, which is what I'm using right now, just looking at that because I already designed it on paper. So kind of seeing how I want everything to look. So the blue comes down. Let's see. You want it to pass the this turquoise. So let's start there, and I'm in just about a couple inches or so, give or take. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue these down. This is just to add an extra little look, kind of a space filler, but gives it a little more character. So I put this one down just enough so that when this goes in, you're not seeing the bottom of that. So just just below that, okay? And then the red one, that one is going to go right next to the blue or the turquoise. And now this one, it's gonna do the same thing. You don't want the turquoise to show, but now you're up into the baking paper, and I'm about 1/4 of an inch space in between. Get a good close up on that. Okay, so now with the yellow one, same distance, but now I'm going to cover just the brown. So just the brown right here. So on this one, I did it just enough so I covered the turquoise, so you don't see that. And same thing over here. And this one, I'm just enough going to cover the brown, okay? So it just gives you an idea of how where I placed them. Same distance apart. And just covering the brown. When you're designing, it's good to work in odd numbers. Like this, with the design elements, I have 3. And then over here, I'm actually going to have 2, but you know, it is what it is. But I think it still looks nice. Okay, so here's a close-up. You can see that there, how I did that. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in my photo mat. The largest one. This will hold a perfect 5x7 photo. So in your kit, you're not going to receive the white. The white just represents the photo. I don't have my photos printed just yet. So I just placed a white cardstock down so you can see what it would look like with your photos framed out. Now this is going to actually cover that middle section just a bit, and whatever distance over here. So this looks maybe about 1/2 inch or 5/8. Let's see. Oops. Yeah, it's maybe about 5/8 or so. Somewhere between 1/2 and 5/8. So I'm making this, and you don't have to be this specific. I'm just telling you how I'm doing it. So this distance is going to be the same distance away from this mat on this side. Also the same distance here and where the red plaid is showing. And yeah, so that's how I'm going to do it. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. And like I said, I'm eyeballing everything. If you're a little more particular, you can certainly measure if you'd like to. I'm just more visual and just eyeballing it. Okay, so I'm looking at the distance here as I'm putting it down, making sure that looks even. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and add this piece. I'm going to do the same thing as far as the distance, but now I'm going to be looking here and here at the yellow and making sure this is the same distance that I'm seeing on this side, okay? And also, this is very important. So you can see this is overlapping a photo, and I don't have my photo on yet. So if you're the same way, if you're doing this without your photos, you want to place something there as a guide when you add your glue, because you want to make sure you don't glue right there, because then it's going to be really difficult to pull up again and might ruin your project when you go to put your photos in. So I'm just going to, this is just a scrap piece of paper, I'm just going to place at the edge of the photo mat and turn it over. And now I'm going to add my glue around. Keep about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch away from the edge, because you don't want that glue to ooze into that space. Okay, now I can remove that. So now it's just like that. And now again, I'm going to look at the distance here, making sure it matches up with the other side. I think that looks pretty good. I'm really liking it. I hope you're enjoying this as well. And remember, you can do the same layout technique with anything. Pull out paper from your stash, stuff you've been wanting to use, haven't used yet, maybe paper or scraps you have left over from a collection or a project you're working on. This is just a great layout idea that you can take and apply to any theme project. Okay, so now I have the mats done. Since I'm in this mode of my little banners here and the mats and the distancing, I don't want to break that. So I'm going to go or break that mode that I'm in. So I'm going to go ahead and add the photo mats to this side as well. And so we have this one. And if you do pick up this kit, actually I'll give you the measurements now in case you're doing this at home on your own. So the brown, I'm going to give you the measurements of the brown. You're going to actually cut your photo mats to the brown, the photo mat size, and then cut your photos 1/4 of an inch smaller. So it's a 5x7 photo, 3.5x5 photo, 4x5 photo, 4x5 photo. So the mats are going to be 5.25 by 7.25, 3 3/4 by 5.25, and then 4.25 by 5.25, 4.25 by 5.25. So actually I didn't need my ruler because I had it written down. Okay, so that's the mat if you're doing this at home with your own projects. And if you do, please post them, tag me on my Instagram and my Facebook. I'd love to see what you create with these. Okay, so let's go ahead and add this. So this is going to come inward this way and down. So I want to make that the same distance. And then the same thing here. It's going to be the same distance here. But I kind of want this to be somewhat the same too. So it's going to go like that. Yeah. Okay. Oh, and I have pieces here. Little banner pieces. Now these are not decorative paper. These are for journaling spots. If you want to put the date, if you want to put the name of your recipe, who's in the pictures, whatever you want to add. We just need a little space for that because I think if you're like me, I take all this time into putting these photos on, these beautiful titles and decorations, and then doesn't say who's in the picture. It doesn't say the date it was taken. It doesn't say what we were doing or anything like that. So we need to start adding those spaces so it's just calling us to do that. It's right there. All we got to do is grab a pen and jot down the names, the place, where we are, what we're doing, anything, just something quick. At least have the who and the what and the where and when. At least have the date and the name and the place or what you're doing or whatever. That's what I think. So I need to go back and do that with more of my pages. I think we need more journaling because the times that I do the journaling and I look back, I'm like, oh, this is so awesome to look back and read. I wish I did it more. So that's why I added this. So I'm going to glue down this one first. Okay, I'm going to do about the same distance over here that I did on the other page. So this one should actually be in line with the largest one because it's the same distance. Okay, so now I want to glue these down first, but I'm going to leave this. Let me think. So I want to know where I'm gluing these down. Like that. Okay, I'm going to stick. I like that. So go up a little more. So I'm distancing this spot and up here. These three areas I want somewhat equal. And then I want this to come out about 1/2 inch or more, okay? This is kind of funny because on this one the whisk is like coming out from it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stick this down. Okay, I'm going to move this since I know about the distance that I'm doing. And that helps to look at the images around to help you in placement. See what you're lining it up with, so you can get an idea where it's going to go since your photo mat's not down yet. Okay, so mine's going to go about like that. I always want to clear off this tip because it starts to build up glue and it'll start clogging up if you don't wipe it. Okay. So I'm looking at the distance here and here, making sure it's straight. And this maybe I did a little bit more. So this is maybe about 1 inch that I did away. Let's see. Yep, it's 1 inch. Okay. Now this, all you're going to do is look at the yellow and look at the baking paper. And you're going to make that distance just about the same as this distance here. So it's going to be a little bit smaller in the middle. I wanted them to be equal, but I think the middle is going to end up being a little bit smaller. But I would rather the two outside be the same distance on this. Yeah, it is smaller. Oh well, not the end of the world. And I don't think anyone's gonna even think about all of that once all the pictures are putting a lot of thought into this one, I guess. Okay, so there you go. So we can't get the whole layout on camera, but maybe we can get a whole page at a time there. Here's a close-up on those. Okay, so now we're just going to go ahead and add the titles and the paper piecings. Okay, so I do have Mickey and Minnie as a paper piecing how-to on my channel. So if you're working on this and want to check those out, you can. So let's do, I've already added the foam squares on the back to have a dimensional look. Now that's totally optional. You can just glue them down. I just like to add the foam tape and the foam squares. So on this one, let's do the title first. So I'm actually going to be placing it right smack in the center of the page. About, let's see, about 1/4 inch here from the top. It's going to be down a little bit more on this side. And also, again, since I don't have my photos yet, I'm just going to place a scrap paper here, line it up with a photo mat, and I'm going to flip it over. Let's place this, put that where I want it, make sure it's straight, and now I'm going to grab that paper and flip. Now I'm using foam tape instead of foam squares on this one. Whatever is covered, I'm not going to remove the tape. So if you're using tape as opposed to squares, before you add the tape, notice where it's going to go. So like I knew it was going to be across, so I put my tape this way. If I put my tape this way, it would have made it really hard to, you know, remove all that tape backing and just do part of it. So this made it really easy. Okay, so now when I go in later, I can just remove the tape backing there. Or I can leave it too. But at least I'll be able to slide a photo under. All right. Hoping I've got it centered and straight. I think so. That looks good. Okay, press it down. Awesome, that's beautiful. Okay, so there's one side done. And I use a silver mirror paper for the whisk. Very cool. Okay, so now let's go ahead and add our characters to this side. So, let's see. He is about like right there. And she's gonna be right up here. So you see where her little bow, the little tail of her bow is kind of going to go in to the, there. Well, let me just hold it up close. It's hard to describe, but that's how it's going to go, just like that. So I'm going to add him first, and I'm just doing him about 1/4 of an inch away from the edge of the yellow paper. So I just need to check this right here. Grab that. And I did foam squares on this just because I didn't know how it was going to land. I'm going to leave these 3 off on the photo mats. Okay. So if you do like this layout, but not necessarily into the Mickey and Minnie, I do have a second version of this coming out at the same time. I don't have an assembly video because it's going to be done exactly the same way, just a slightly different title and different image set. But yes, so that's available as well. That one is titled Baking Up Some Memories as opposed to Baking Up Some Magic. So I do have both versions available in my shop. Okay, so I left this tape backing on here. I'm going to go ahead and add this, making sure it's straight. And there is a texture in this that's just lines going across. It's either going to be going across or going up and down. It should be going across, but if it's going across, that makes it easier because you know that should be straight. So that's what I am looking at, referring to. Okay, so there we go. So now I'm looking at this. Well, actually, I should give you a close-up. Sorry about that. And now I'm going to be looking at this tail of her apron. And then right here where it goes in, the bow and his tail right in there in that groove, that's where that's going to kind of fit right in there. So I know exactly where to place her. And again, I'm looking at the lines in her apron and her bow to make sure it's straight. And see, this one, she's covering this photo and this one. So that's a little tricky. All right, so I just want to remove the tape backing from this area. So I think I'm just, yeah, I'm not going to do her head. I know that. So right there, I know I'm going to leave those on her head, and then I don't want to remove that. Okay, so all of these I can remove. I didn't put any little tape here. I should have, but it's not totally necessary. Although I kind of want to, just so I kind of want to. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I do because I need just little skinny pieces. I'm going to use my foam squares and my scissors. Now, when you cut these down, leave them on. What just happened? Oh, I removed the tape backing. Oh, my goodness. My goodness. Okay. So leave it on here because I used to peel off the tape backing and then cut them. My scissors got really sticky and gummy. Yeah. So you want to leave them on, and then your scissors won't get all sticky. I'm just going to cut a little piece. I don't need that anymore. That's not even small enough. Okay, I'm going to cut this in half. See, like this probably isn't even necessary to put any on there, but I don't know. And it's really tiny. All right. Get that tape backing off. Okay, and the final piece. Here we go. Looking at this again, making it line up in here. super cute. I absolutely love this. I cannot wait to put pictures. I've been doing a lot of baking lately, well, especially around Christmas time. Did a lot of baking with cookies, took a lot of pictures. It's not a Christmas layout, so I'll probably just take one of when we're just doing like chocolate chip cookies or something. Actually, yes, because Mickey's making chocolate chip cookies, so I'm gonna have to put chocolate chip cookie pictures on here. I think that's gonna be real fun. I've got, oh, I can't wait now. So I gotta go print my pictures. So here is the final layout. And you can see I used the silver mirror paper on here as well. There, we can see it. That looks good. And on the whisk here. Okay, so thank you so much for watching and for staying till the end. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button. If you'd like to see more videos from me, please click the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of the magic. And follow me on Facebook and Instagram, where I post updates of upcoming projects. Thanks so much again, and have a great day.